Hey all, it appears I dropped a large bollock on this Wonder Woman painting then. I've been getting quite a few messages about her upper torso. I knew I went a bit heavy with the shading, but it was one of those things that I was worried if I went in to try and fix it, I might screw it up. But as I've been getting so many messages about how she looks, it must be pretty bad. It's now bugging me like crazy, so I'm gonna sort her out. I'll show you some of the things that people have been saying, and they are right, by the way. It's a good thing about sharing stuff online on forums and videos and what have you. Sometimes when you're looking at a project, when you're working on it, you're looking at it for so long, you can't see the woods for the trees, you know. It's very easy to miss stuff. It's always good to go away and have a break and then go back and check it out again. And like I say, I knew I went a bit heavy with the shading, but as some people very kindly pointed out as well, her eyes are wonky. Her lips aren't very defined, really. Also, I've used too much red in her flesh tone on the top half there. That was a bit of an experiment, really. I was trying to do her legs a bit more browny orange to simulate her satin tights. But I used to use too much red in her upper half. She looks sunburnt. So, using some advice from other artists out there, which I thank you for. I've had a few messages from other artists and that lot giving me suggestions on how to try and fix her and that, which I'm very appreciative for. You know, that's how I learned airbrushing, you know, going on forums, posting up pictures, people would tell me what's wrong with them, and then I'd progress, you know. It's always nice when you post some work up and people say, you know, wow, fantastic and all that, like, you know, it's very nice to get feedback like that, but it can also go the other way, like this, you know. If I've done something wrong, if something doesn't look right, then I prefer to know. Obviously if someone turns around and just says, oh, that's shit, you know, it's like, oh, thanks a lot. But if it's constructive criticism, then that's always very gratefully received. So, like I say, as so many people have said there's something wrong with this, then it obviously doesn't look right. And if it doesn't look right, it won't raise a lot of money for the Teenage Cancer Trust. And I want it to raise as much as possible. So I'm gonna spend today fixing it, hopefully.
I don't know what to do.
So I thought I'd make a video of this. Oh look, there's Caitlin. Hello. I figured out. Oh God, look at me! I look awful. Not been sleeping well on hay fever makes Svee an ugly boy. Yeah, I thought I would make a video on fixing this. Because there isn't that many videos out there on fixing stuff when it goes wrong. So, you know, I've got nothing to hide. I'll admit it. I did it wrong. So we'll see if I can fix this. And I'll be honest here, I've got no game plan or anything on fixing it. I really am just going to make it up as I go along and hope it turns out okay. So, first job is to mask off this whole upper torso part. So the hand, the arm, and everything from her boobs up. That's the face that I was using as a reference. So you can see what I was aiming for. So first job then, let's mask it all off. Okay, so there she is, all masked off. I've just used some Ultra Mask. It's stuff by Art Tool. So I've just used some of that around the edges there, and then just covered the rest in regular A4 paper. So now I think I'm gonna try and replicate the flesh tone on her legs down there, because I like the way they look. So I'll forget about the whole replicating the satin tights thing. I'll just try and replicate the flesh tone that's down there. So we're gonna spray her hand, her arm, her whole upper torso and her face in E-Tac flesh tone. So let's get that done and we'll take it from there. Okay, so there it is, covered in flesh tone. I've used that E-Tac flesh tone because I really like that colour, and for speed's sake, rather than mixing something up with auto air or whatever, I can just use that straight out of the bottle. So as you can see, I haven't covered it completely. It's not 100% covered. You can still see some of the darker areas. Done that on purpose so that gives me some sort of reference point as to what was there before. So just carry on. Okay, so I've started laying on the orange tone. It's this stuff I've used, a Art paint. It's good stuff. Very lightly. I actually even reduced that a bit, just to make it extra transparent. And be careful because it's very easy to overpower it. I don't normally use quite so much orange, but because of the sunset in the background, it made the legs look fantastic, I thought. So I'm repeating that process on the rest of the skin tone. One thing though is the face. I've had people saying that the eyes were crooked and the mouth wasn't defined enough. The nose was too long. And it's a weird one, this, because I've got my reference picture and I've traced it. I've actually traced where her mouth, her nostrils and her eyes fall on that picture, and they're exactly where they were before. Admittedly, this left eye was rotated slightly, but it was only ever so slight. So what I've tried to do to compensate is obviously I've turned it round a bit to bring it in line with the other one. So it's her eyes are in line with her crown, and they go in a straight line across there as well. But also they're very slanted. They're very closed. So I've opened them up a bit on here, only ever so slightly, but I have opened them up a little bit. And her mouth, you got the regular shape on this side. This side though, that shape doesn't exist. It just comes around here and then out a little bit. You don't get the nice curvature and poke out like you normally do. So I've had to change that as well. You see, you've got the nice curvature there, the other up curve there. That didn't exist on that side, so I've kind of drawn it in a little bit more to compensate. So I've had to change from the original picture a bit. One thing I did notice that I did wrong, which is probably why her nose looks so long, is the shading. You see on the original, you're kind of looking up at her face, so you can see the underside of her nose. And I didn't shade it like that on the original one. I kind of brought the white highlight down a bit further, so it looked like you were looking at her straight on. And it kind of elongated her nose. So I think a lot of my problem was in the way I shaded it as well. Because I got the eyes and that in the right place. So it's one to look out for if you're doing portraits of people. But anyway, I'll carry on with this Art orange over the face. There we are then. I think that will do our oranges. It's looking a bit odd on the camera there. She's looking really strange. She doesn't look like that. That doesn't work. The orange is coming out a bit harsh on the camera, but it's not like that in real life. But yeah, that will do the oranges, I think.
and I kind of gave her a bit more of a scowl on her face, because you know I want her to look tough. You know, she's a superhero. You know, you mess with her, she'll kick her ass, sort of thing. So I gave her a bit more of a scowl, just so she's kind of looking at you saying, yeah, you know, try it, you know. So next I will add some browns, like I did on the legs down there. Look. See, I started with a burnt orange, and then I added in some browns, and lastly some blue, believe it or not. Is it blue? He put blue in there? Yeah, I'm learning colour theory slowly, and it's quite amusing. Anyway, orange is done, brown's next. Okay, we've got the flesh, the orange, a brown ochre, and then a transparent yellow and a transparent red over various places. It looks quite horrendous at the moment because I'm still shading, especially the face and the lips. So I'm going to peel off this mask now so I can look at the whole thing and see if I'm screwing it up again.
Here we are then. She is finished, I think. As you can see, go on colour balance, sort yourself out. As you can see, she looks a lot more like Linda Carter now. You compare it to how she looked originally, and it was just nasty. Just goes to show that sometimes you can really miss it. Really, you really need other people's opinions. Softened up the hair. The way I did that was I just added a load of dagger strokes around the edges. It was all a bit too crisp. It looked like a wig. So was added some dagger strokes, some extra hairs poking out here and there, and it softened it all up nicely. You have to be careful doing that though, because if you do too much, it increases the size of the hair, of course. So if you do it too much, you could end up looking like she's got an afro. I changed the skin tone across the whole top half and brought it back in line with the bottom half because it was just way too red. Also added more shadows. There is now a shadow from here over that side. There is a shadow coming off of the hair. There's also one coming off of the chin as well, and darkened up her cleavage as well. Also added more shadow to the armpit area here. Added a intense white highlight down this whole edge because that's where the sun is, so that'd be very bright. I was going to add it across the hair as well, but I'm not sure. I don't know if it would look good or not, so I may just leave it as it is. I don't want to ruin it after all this work. If you're following me on Facebook, you would have seen me go on about an inkjet transparency. Some people seem to think that I printed out Linda Carter's face, my reference photo, onto an inkjet transparency and then stuck it on the canvas, but that wasn't the case at all. There's nothing stuck on there, it's just paint. Here is the inkjet transparency. That's the reference photo I was using. All I did was stuck it over the top of her face, just so I could see where I was going wrong. You know, if you do that, then you can lift it up and put it back down, and you can see where the darker areas should be. You know, it gives you a good inkling to where you've messed up. But the right side of her face, I had painted too much, so I needed to get rid of that a bit. The lips weren't tightly enough to find across the top, and the shadow across the middle was the wrong shape. The eyes, I didn't have a dark enough shadow in the top part near the bridge of the nose, same on the other side. the eyebrows were in slightly the wrong place. You know, it just showed me where I had gone wrong, so I could see where I've gone wrong, lift up the transparency. You know, I could lay it over the top, see where I've gone wrong, flip it over, sort it out, lay it back down, see the next part I've done wrong, flip it over, sort it out, back down it goes. So it's a good little tip, that. But yeah, for the people who thought I just printed out that and then glued it onto there, I didn't. That's just paint. So I think that'll do. I might lighten up her cheeks slightly. Maybe I've gone a bit too dark there, but that'll do. So thank you for your honest opinions. Like I said, it's easy to not notice some things when you're staring at something hour after hour, day after day. Oh, another thing, a couple of people have said I should brighten up her eyes. I did try that, and she didn't look good, to be honest. Her eyes are, if anything, I suppose they need to go a little bit darker, but I won't do that. I'll leave them the way they are. That will do. She looks fairly cool. Some people have said she's got a bit of a scowl on her face. It's probably because the reference photo I was using, the sun is in her eyes, so she is frowning a bit. But I kind of wanted her to have that tough, don't mess with me look to her, but also keep a bit of her femininity, you know. I think it works. But anyway, there she is. She will be with me at the Custom Culture Blast Off show, so if you're going to it, make sure to come over and say hi, and hopefully this will get a decent bit of cash for the Teenage Cancer Trust. On to the next project now then.